Hello, good afternoon. My name is Andrea Etienne from Vieille.
Miss Andrea, you are a cancer survivor. Can you tell us your cancer story when it all started?
Well, it all started one Sunday evening. Uh, I found out I was at church and I saw a little speck of blood on my shirt. I went to inquire about it, and then from that, the following day, I went to see the doctor, Dr. Paul, and then he took a biopsy, and then the result came out. I have stage 4 cancer, breast cancer.
How did you feel at that time when the results came back?
At that point, that was the worst news I could ever think of, or hoping to hear. But all for all, I cried until I cried my eyes out, asking God, why me? Why? What is happening? But after I cried, I tell that to my family, and then my auntie gave me an advice. She told me, cry all the cry you can, and when you satisfy you cry, then you ask your Heavenly Father to help you fight. And that was it. That was the beginning of the journey.
So tell us some of the challenges that you faced while you had breast cancer.
The symptoms of the chemo, oh God. Every time I see Kool-Aid, I get nauseous. But it was bad, especially the red, we call it the red Kool-Aid. Man, I vomit. Every time I get it, I vomit. But I was still strong. One of my, I call her assistant, a special nurse, she used to call me Soldier, because I had to take chemo every week. Because of this stage 4, I had to take it every week. And it was rough. When I take the first one, okay, I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't stomach anything. If I drink water, anything, I would have vomit until I don't have anything to vomit. The second dose, I had to take 6 cycles. The second cycle, I said, oh no, Father, I cannot do it anymore. I tell the nurse, that is the last one, I am not coming back. She tell me, oh, but you cannot do that. You have to tell the doctor. I look at her in the eye and I say, you know, I love you and I appreciate everything you do for me, but I am not coming back. And anyway, that it is. I called my nephew, and then he decided with some financial help, my saving is gone. But God always provided. He sent me natural stuff. That is part of the chemo. I sent him all the results and the schedule of the doctor, how many cycles, all the info. And he sent me the rest of the chemo, the natural stuff. It is expensive, but I could stomach it. That was it.
Did you have any hair loss?
Oh, the hair loss. The hair loss thing came out on the second dose, because of the stage 4 and they call it the aggressive. So every hair came out, and then it was like my sister wanted to cut it too before it. I said no, I want to experience. But one thing I kind of regret I didn't do was to take out the pictures and whatnot, because I find it was ugly. But in that stage, that's what you think. But the hair loss, everything comes out, and then it stayed like the elderly Chinese with some strands, and it was really funny. But everything came out, all the hair drops. I should just feel it falling. It would just drop, so I'll just take it out and like that. But I never cried. I say, okay, because they tell, when you go to them, they tell you you're gonna have hair loss. They give you all the what you're gonna experience and things like that. So I just wanted to experience how it was and like that. But okay, the finances. Oh, but if you don't have going up and down trying to raise funds to pay for the chemo every week, to pay, before you take the chemo, you have to come and get the blood take a blood test every Monday, and this is another cost. Going up and down is another cost. But I got help from the Cancer Society. They did help, but I appreciate it, but it's still not enough, because if you have to take 6 cycles and plus the blood test every Mondays, and you have to pay for the chemo you taking every Tuesday. It's hard, it's difficult, it's stressful, it's expensive, and especially if you're not working, that makes it worse. And if you are working, sometimes it still puts a stress on you.
So are you still with your double breasts, or you had to get rid of them?
No, I had to get rid of one. And most people, breast cancer people, it's always the left. I don't know why, it's always the left.
How did that make you feel, getting your breast off?
I said, but I still young. I haven't got. One day I would like to get married and whatnot. And sometimes you hear stories. I was thinking about who's gonna marry somebody with only one breast. You know, all these all these questions come in, and then you have to either accept it. I say, well, that's who I am. I accept who I am, and if the man that see me and he intend to marry to me, and if he don't want to accept it, well, that's how it is. But I'm good with that.
What about family support? When you break the news to them, what was the reaction?
When I brought it in, they look at me like, when I came out, I went for the result first of all. When I came back, I just went straight in my room. So they finding, okay, they're waiting. So when I finished, cry, I satisfied. I went and I tell them, well, that is the result, and they looking, everybody's in shock. Everybody is looking at one and trying to figure out what to say, what not to say. They don't want to say something, and then I take it the wrong way. But all in all, they accepted what it is, find out what is the next step, how many cycles, how it's gonna do, the blood test and everything. And they were very much understanding on that part, and gave me all the support and help, nieces, sisters, nephew, especially when you see is the vomiting part, or if they always want to come, they want to help. Auntie, can I get you something to eat? Can I get you some water, some juice? But I just couldn't stomach. I just couldn't take it. And I have 2 sisters. They are more afraid of vomit than they're afraid of anything. They just cannot stand it. So anytime it's the vomiting part, all you hear door closing or nobody. These 2, they don't come. But I got a lot of family and support and financing.
While we're on that, how important is family support during this period?
Very, very important and effective. If you don't have family support, you will try to do it, and by God's grace you will make it. But if you have the family support, that is where the healing starts. The family support. Once you have the family support, your healing starts there.
I know some persons have been diagnosed with cancer and they look at it as a death sentence. What would you say to these people?
Well, that anytime somebody, well, anytime a doctor tell you you have cancer, first thing they're thinking about, I'm dead, I'm going to die. And then again, you hear negative things. Somebody will always tell you a negative, oh, you're gonna die. No, you can eat all what you want to eat and thing. The eating habit, if your doctor said you can eat certain things, you can eat anything you want. That is up to you. But with me, never a meat person and thing like that. So I choose not to eat certain things. I try certain things, eating certain things, and it sent all it wasn't helping. So I just leave it alone. But the eating habit, you have to change your eating habit. The amount of meat you used to eat, just cut down on it or just leave it for a while. Look for the little fishes. It's much better. You just make the fish water. You eat a lot of okra, a lot of spinach, green stuff. You try to eat healthy things. A lot of salad, nuts. You get coconut water. You get those kind of natural things for you to eat. You cut down on your grease. Too much grease. Some people eat a lot of grease, but choices.
How long did you battle with cancer?
July 26th or 28th. I always take the two dates there for my special dates. Of 2022 gave me 14 years. Cancer free.
Early detection saves lives.
That's it.
What would you like to say about that?
Early detection. If you find a lump, it can be small, it can not be hurting, you're not comfortable with it, go and check it out. It doesn't take much. Even if you just go the health clinic, they always willing to think. You're not too sure. Sometimes it might be your mind. You feel a lump in your breast and you're not too comfortable with it or you're not too sure. You go to the health center and say, nurse, I felt something there. I'm not too sure if it is. Could you help me, please? But the early detection, if you find a lump, you went by the doctor, they took a biopsy, it turned out to be cancer, that is not the end of your life. If you detect it early, then you can save your life. But if you stay there in the night, sometimes it's just the acceptance of it. They find a lump and they're too scared because they don't want somebody else to touch their body. They don't want somebody to, all negative things. And then they hear people say something and they're not too sure. They just run with it. The earlier you try to correct it, the better for you.
There are so many women out there who are looking at this video today. What advice would you give to them?
Especially the women, and I would specify on the young ladies. Where I work, I always have to, it's just part of me. They come with a cell phone, they have it under their armpits. They have a cell phone, it's in their pocket. So I always advise them, and I could ask them, do you know anything about chemo? They would say no, or they would say yes. Then I'll tell them, well, look how it is. You're not too young to go through chemo. The question is if you can handle it, if you're able to go through it. So please stop putting the cell phones under your armpits or on your breast. Even the grown-ups, they come and they're looking, they want to buy something, the phone is under their breast. I'll just say, ma'am, please, do me a favor then. Just take out the cell phone, put it down there, it's safer there. Or if you want to put it in your bag or in your pocket. Nowadays, I see everybody putting the cell phone in their back pocket. Even today, I put a cell phone in my back pocket and I find like my bottom was hot. So I just took it out. So please, I would advise the young people and even the young men too. Young men get breast cancer. Somebody died with, how many people died, men died with breast cancer. Stop putting the phones or any, what do you call it, electronic thing on all your body. It's not healthy, it's not helping you. The mammogram, always go and check for your mammogram. After, if it's every 2 years they tell you, then you do it. Try to keep your appointment. Always, when you're in your shower or you lie down on your bed, always search yourself, pat yourself, massage your breast. It's not nothing, it's not disgusting or abnormal to always check your breast or ask your husband to check your breast for you. Sometimes you check it and you might find, well, it's a normal thing. Sometimes it's fat or not. But your husband, he might tell you, well, as if that wasn't there, or I find this thing, or sometimes you touch it and you might find a little discomfort or a pain. Then you will find, you will know, to go and check. Always go and check your mammogram.
When you found out that you were cancer free, how did you feel?
Cancer free after how many years? It would be it's a relief. It's a relief. But every year, when you always, they ask you to do your markers. It's called markers. Every year, I always thank God. Father, give me 2 years. Or I always pray and ask the Father, I want to see another 25 years. After 5 years, I always ask him to give me a 30 years so I can help somebody. Maybe I might not be able to help people financially, but I can tell you my experience. I can share my experience with you. I can give you my support.
You say you want to become an advocate for cancer, breast cancer.
Yeah.
How can somebody contact you?
Okay. They can contact me at 276-9100 or 616-6072. That's my